Are you tired of being overweight and out of shape? Me too. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 simple steps that anybody can do right now. No gym membership, expensive equipment, or complicated diets are required. So if you're ready to finally take control of your health and fitness, then let's get started. Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my 50 plus fitness journey. Maybe you're like me and you're overweight or you're just not as fit as you want to be. I created this channel to document my journey of regaining my health and fitness, and today is my first day. So without further ado, let's jump right into the 3 simple steps I'll be using. Step 1, move more. Step 2, eat better. Step 3, lift heavy things. So let's dig in a little bit more to step 1, move more. Sounds simple, right? I mean, and on some level, I think it is just that simple. Just move more than you're currently moving. And I guess my point in this is that, and why the 3 simple steps is that I've tried all kinds of things over probably the last 15 plus years, and I can't find anything that's sustainable for me anyway. And so to me, to just get started, I just want to move more. So I'm personally going to try to start by walking 10,000 steps a day. I'm going to count my steps. I don't personally have a sedentary lifestyle, so I think 10,000 is a reasonable goal for me to start. If you're not doing anything, 10,000 is probably gonna be a little too high. So maybe start at 2,500. But the key is to just start moving more, because if you're moving more than you're currently moving, then you're gonna burn some calories, right? So step 2, eat better. I don't know about you, but I'm not counting calories. I've tried that. It doesn't work for me. I mean, maybe in the course of this whole thing, I'll hit a plateau and I'll need to count calories for a little while just to kind of figure out what's going on. And I'm okay with doing that for a short period of time, but for me, that's not sustainable. I'm not going to count calories every day for the rest of my life. I'm not even going to do it once a week for the rest of my life. It's just not going to happen. I've tried different diets. I've tried paleo, whole 30, or at least versions of paleo, whole 30. I've tried low carb, no sugar. And while I've had some success for, short periods of time, it's not sustainable. So my idea with eating better is just making simple incremental changes over time. Like, for example, and this is to me like an easy example is, so I live in the Midwest, right? And if you're going to eat a salad, you're going to put some ranch on it. Well, rather than putting ranch on it, what if you just did some Olive Garden salad dressing? So the difference between the two is, and the serving size is the same for both. So we're talking apples to apples on serving size. Ranch, 130 calories per serving with 13 grams of fat. Olive Garden, 80 calories of serving for 8 grams of fat. So just figure out what your normal is on any given day and just make an incremental change. So maybe a more extreme example than the salad dressing would be like, if you were to go to McDonald's, I don't know how often you might, but if you were to go to McDonald's, what if your normal was a Big Mac meal with a large fry and large Coke? Okay. So what if you just switch that up, and instead of a Big Mac meal with a large fry and large Coke, you switch to a double cheeseburger, a medium fry, and a large Diet Coke? I'll give you an example of the calories. Big Mac, 590, large fry, 480, large Coke, 290 calories, for a total of 1,360 calories. Okay? Just by switching to the double cheeseburger meal, you'd be a double cheeseburger, 450 calories, medium fry, 320 calories, large Diet Coke, 0 calories, for a total of 770. So you went from 1,360 to 770. You're still eating fast food, but you're taking in half the amount of calories. So if you're just doing things like that, between switching up your McDonald's and changing your salad dressings and moving a little bit more, you're gonna see some results. All right. And again, you didn't get here overnight. It's taken me 15 plus years to get to the point where I'm at with being overweight and having high blood pressure and just not, and feeling physically weak, frankly, just not in as good a shape as I want to be. It's taken me time to get here. I'm not going to get out of it overnight, but I'm also not going to be in a position where I'm like dieting and starving myself, because I'm not doing that either. I'm not starving. Like when you do the little calorie counter thing in your calculator, you're like, I can only have 1,800, and I eat my 1,800. I'm like, holy cow, I still have 6 hours of waking hours left. I'm dying here. I'm not doing that. So that's what I mean. Just small incremental changes, reduce it a little bit, move a little bit more. And finally, step 3, lift heavy things. I'm not talking about having a gym membership. I mean, I have some dumbbells. some lightweight dumbbells, just kind of left over from over the years. But I don't even think you need that, right? I just mean we're going to need to do some strength training. Um, and I know you have one heavy thing, you, right? I mean, I'm heavy. So just like body weight exercises, like a push up. I can't do a push up. Okay, do push ups from your knees. I can't do push ups from my knees. Okay, do a wall push up, right? Like there's something that you can do to start strength training. And we're not talking about going to the gym and pumping iron tomorrow, because let's face it, we're not in shape and we're overweight, so we're going to injure ourselves. And if you're in that 50 plus age range, avoiding injury is going to be important early on because it can completely derail you. So start lower, and it might be humbling, especially if you've been in shape in the past, or you've been an athlete, or in the military like I was. Yeah, I used to be able to do this stuff, and I can't anymore. And then you realize, man, I'm weak, and that's not a cool feeling. But you just got to start small so that you don't get yourself injured early and then get derailed, have to be sidelined, and you just go back to your old habits. So that's it. That's the 3 steps. So let's talk about my plan for a minute. This morning on day 1 of my transition, I weighed in at 210.4 pounds, which puts me solidly in the overweight category and borderline obese. And then on top of that, I have high blood pressure and I'm on medication for it. And I have been for about a year, and probably should have been prior to that, but wasn't. Um, anyway, so I think my initial goal is, and again, I'm trying to create like a sustainable system here so that I can be healthy and fit the rest of my life. But initially, just to lose some weight, the American Heart Association recommends if you can lose 10% of your current body weight, you're going to see immediate health benefits from that. And so I think that's a good initial goal for weight loss. So my plan is to get down to, if I do 10% of 210.4, it gets me at like 189 and some change. So I'm just going to round that up to 190. So my initial goal is to get to 190 pounds. And then I'll reassess from there, see where I'm at fitness wise, and can adjust. And this is my personal plan of how I'm going to start. In week 1, I'm just going to focus on the first 2 steps. I'm going to save step 3, lift heavy things, for week 2. Just mostly because I don't want to overload myself. In the past, I found that like I just kind of come out of the gate strong. One, I'm older this time, and so it takes me longer to recover. I don't want to overwhelm myself. I do work. I have a life, so I can't. I'm not paid to do this. This is like something I'm just trying to do for myself here, and hopefully maybe someone else will benefit from it. So I just don't overwhelm myself in the beginning. So I'm going to focus on week 1, eating better and moving more. And kind of here's my plan. And you can kind of create one to tailor it to yourself, but I think just keep it simple, have reasonable goals, and then keep track of it. So here's what I'm going to do for eat better. 0 sugary sweets. I'm not doing that at all. No ice cream, no cake, no candy. I can eat Reese cups like it's my job. None. Initially, 0 alcohol. Okay. Now, it's just the beginning of summer here. I'm not saying I'm never going to do these things again. So, like, to be honest, my youngest son's birthday is coming up in a week or 2. We're going to have a vacation about a month or so. On the birthday, there'll probably be some cake and ice cream. On the vacation, where we're meeting up with some of my wife's old friends from college, there'll probably be some adult beverages consumed. So I'm not saying never, but just to get started with, I'm cutting that stuff out. I can do that, right? If you can't, then reduce, right? Like if, I don't know, if you ate 6 cupcakes a day, eat 3, whatever you can do. Anyway, so that's what I'm changing up. I'm also going to avoid processed food as much as possible. And I don't know, the way I think about it is like there's 3 kinds of food, right? And I know there are people that have very, very strong opinions about food nutrition. And I don't really. Okay. I just try to keep it like more of a simple common sense way. I'm not like all into the science and get geeked out about that stuff, but I try to think of it as simple as like, one, there's on this end, there's like organic farm to table food, right? Which is probably the best for you. And then number 2, there's fresh whole food, but maybe it was packaged in some kind of facility. And then on the other end, there's like literally factory created food, which would be the processed food. So I'm going to try to avoid factory created, I'm not going to get the organic farm to table. I don't even know where the closest Whole Foods to me is, like probably 40 plus minutes away. That's unrealistic. But I just want to trend toward the healthier food as best as possible. And as I do more time and do more research, then I'll incrementally get there. But it's not going to be overnight. I think the more stuff you try to put on your plate in the beginning, the more likely it is you're either gonna burn out quickly or just fail and get frustrated. So trend that way. Um, let's see what else. Yeah, and just like the small incremental changes, like the salad dressing that I mentioned. So that's my 1 week for food. All right, and then I'm going to track it. We'll get to that in a second. On the more steps part, or on the move more, I'm personally going to track steps. My goal for week 1 is 10,000 steps a day. I don't have a totally sedentary life. I work in the emergency department. I work 12-hour shifts, and it varies. Sometimes I work 1 day a week. Some days I work 4 days a week, whatever. But I don't sit behind a desk. I have done that in the past, but I don't right now. So I think not being completely sedentary, 10,000 steps a day is a reasonable goal. I don't think I'll injure myself doing that. So that's going to be my goal for week 1. If you are more sedentary, like the 0 to 2,500 steps a day, maybe your goal just needs to be more than you're doing now. So if you're 0, 500 is good, which I don't know, anybody's really 0. But if you're like 2,500, which I think would be considered sedentary, or you could look it up on Google, but then maybe 3,500, 5,000 steps a day, something like that. But you just want to move more. So we're going to eat less, move more, or eat better, move more. That's week 1. And then the lift heavy things, I'll start that in week 2, like I said, just not to overwhelm myself. And we'll get to more of that in the next video, like kind of what I'm doing, what my plan is around that. Yeah, I mean, that's my plan. So I guess my thought is, don't overthink it. Stay with the simple steps. Keep track of it. So my plan is to just write it down in a journal. I've just got a small little notebook and I'm going to write it down. I've done, I don't know, things like MyFitnessPal in the past. To me, it's just not sustainable. I'm not going to do that forever, right? I'm just trying to change some habits now. Once you start putting in and calculating all the calories and the macros, and you try to put in a food that you made at home that's not in there. Like, the good thing about like those MyFitnessPal apps is if you eat a Big Mac, it knows how many calories is in that. But if I make a salad, then I have to put in like, oh, I put in this much lettuce, and I'm not doing that. That's too much. So I'm just going to write it down in a journal. So that's some accountability. It's easy. I can just do breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. That's all I'm writing. And what I had in my shorthand. And then at the end of the week, review it, right? And then the same thing with the steps. I personally have an iWatch, so I have a step counter there. I know people have Garmin's, whatever. The Fitbit, I think, is one of them. If you wear that, count your steps. A lot of people have those. If you don't, maybe track time. Like, I don't move much now, so I'm going to purposefully move for 15 minutes a day for the first week, whatever it is. Just track something, keep track of it each week, and then I'll see you back at the end of the week. All right. You can do this too. Today can be your day 1 as well, and we can lose weight and get fit together. If you found any of this information helpful, a like and subscribe would be nice. But again, I'm just really doing this for my own accountability. So I guess the more important thing is that you just get out there and do it too. Thanks for watching.